Good morning, everyone. Okay, so this is um, this is what I did after the meeting with Greg Rickford. I went back to my employer, which he asked me to do, and I wrote them an email. So because I like communicating through email because then there is a record of everything, right? And I could show um, Greg Rickford that I did follow up and I did do what he asked me to do, right? And so this is the email that um, I sent. It was to payroll. It was to the person that I had been communicating with prior, and um, I just wrote, "Good afternoon. I just got out of the meeting with my local MPP, Greg Rickford, as this matter, um, as this Okay, so I should explain this, sorry. So previously I had gone to payroll and I had inquired about the deductions, the garnishment, and I was told it was from CRA. Now CRA is federal, so I went to Eric Milano's office and they did some inquiry and they found out it wasn't CRA. So I went back to payroll. I said, okay, well, I went to Eric Milano's office and he said it wasn't CRA. So why is this garnishment happening? And then I found out it wasn't from CRA, but FRO, and FRO is provincial, not federal. So that brings it into um, Greg Rickford's area, right? Jurisdiction, whatever. Um, and I said he asked me to request a collaborative meeting with individuals processing my pay and caseworker from FRO. Um, Purpose of the meeting is to discuss previous pay details and future pay to ensure no further hardship. Please let me know when a meeting would be possible. Please let me know by May 4th. I have a follow-up meeting with Mr. Rickford and would like to let him know something has been scheduled in the near future. Now, I didn't have a meeting with Greg Rickford scheduled at this point in time, but as you heard in the recording, he did say that he wanted to meet with me within 3 to 4 weeks, and that would have fallen within the time frame. Now, at the time this email was written, I had been anticipating his assistant slash secretary, Linda, would be getting back to me with a scheduled date. Now, um, this was, this was literally, it would have been the day of, I misspoke when I said it was March 27th, the meeting was, it was April 27th, because um, this was written immediately following the meeting. Um, Now, the response I got was, "Hi Susan, I called family support today at 2:41 to reimburse 819. Family support will not reimburse the money because you have arrears. You can call family support at um, that number, Agent Bernie." Okay, so I had a couple issues with that. First of all, I'm not looking for an agent. I'm looking for a caseworker, somebody who would be able to help me with this matter. Um, Somebody ongoing. Now, my understanding is that when you call FRO, you get put into a queue, and each time you um, get somebody new, the much like the switchboard with Ontario Works or ODSP, right? The difference is you eventually will get assigned a caseworker with Ontario Works, like a permanent caseworker with Ontario Works or ODSP. With FRO, that is not the case. each time you call in, you're calling a 1-800 number. Each each time you call in, you're sorry, just a second. Each time you call in, you're given a different agent who then you have to go through the whole process of explaining the situation again. There's no personal interactions. Um, there's no credibility really, because everything is just brushed off, and everything is just um, there's no consistency of customer service. That's more accurate than brushed off. But there is no consistency. There's no consistent caseworker or agent that is assigned to one case file, right? Now, another concern with this is, at the time I was an employee with the government. I should have been allowed to get Bernie's last name so that I could look him up in the global address book. But payroll decided that they wouldn't allow me that information. And if I was given that information, I could have shot Bernie an email and say, "Hey, look, I'm I appreciate your help, but I really need a caseworker or somebody permanent who can address these issues and be able to be my go-to person to speak to on a daily basis in regards to issues," right? But that didn't happen. And then I responded again, I'm requesting a meeting with all parties. I need to know what this will look like going forward to ensure no further hardship, and still require details on how the amount was reached. So here, the team lead um, indicates that they're canceling the off-cycle request. It is not a refund, and they will not be reimbursing me. So I don't think they even talked to Fro about this. Oh, I think I went backwards on this. Huh. So here, even though I requested a meeting a couple times, they they totally ignored my request, and um, they totally ignored my request. And so I responded, now I'm definitely feeling targeted and discriminated against. If Fro wanted to talk to me, they would agree to a collaborative meeting. But right now, I am feeling very much financially attacked by my work colleagues. Fro is part of the same ministry I work for, hence there should be no reason at all we all can't sit down and talk about this situation and come to something that works for everyone and does not financially exploit or unhouse me. And um, the response I got was from um, one of the managers, and basically they said that no meeting would occur. And so to date, I have not been able to get a meeting. Well, it's pointless now because I'm not working there anymore. But um, I still have not been assigned a caseworker with Fro. I'll show you another email where Fro has decided that um, Fro decided that um, they would only communicate with me through phone, and hence um, integrity and credibility is really lacking with the Fro department at the Ontario government, because at that point it is their word against mine. And when you have multi people touching a file, there's no real credibility in that file, right? There's no consistency of care, and um, and it also is very much an abuse of power, because you've got these these government employees, agents, officers, whatever they want to call themselves, handling a file. If they end up going to court, who's the judge going to believe? An independent party, a private citizen, or somebody who works for the provincial government? They're going to believe somebody who works for the provincial government, even though there is um, even though there is no consistency on that file with um, like one caseworker per file. It's literally whoever answers the phone when you call into that number, that is who is going to be working on that file that's um, at that time that you call. And I mean, if you call in multi times during the day, it might be multi people um, putting notes on that file, and none of them might be consistent. And as as a as a regular person who's dealing with them, that can be rather frustrating. Because imagine you call in 4 different times during the day, and you have to go through the same process 4 different times trying to explain something and hopefully getting some sort of resolution. But realistically, you're dealing with 4 different people, so you probably will get absolutely nowhere. I mean, almost everybody has called a 1-800 number at some point, whether it be trying to get something resolved with your cell phone or internet um, or a utility bill or something. And you sit on hold for a while, and then you get transferred from one agent to another, and sometimes you get disconnected and then you have to start all over again. Well, that is the situation here. And when we're talking about family matters and personal finances that are being garnished and that sustain somebody's livelihood, that consistency of care shouldn't exist. It should be one caseworker per file. I mean, a caseworker might have multi cases, but there should be one caseworker assigned to an individual. And with Fro, that is not the case. At least that has not been my experience. Now, I'm going to show you something else if I can bring it up here. This might be it. Um, okay, we'll have to find it later on. But um, it is an email from Fro indicating that they do not communicate through email. And for me, that was um, really telling because, again, abuse of power, lack of consistency of care, lack of credibility. Lack of credibility is a huge thing because if they weren't worried about screwing up and um, doing something wrong, why would they not? Why would they not communicate through email? It it ensures safety on both sides. It is a paper trail of the conversation and what occurred, right? The fact that Fro refuses to communicate through email is a huge red flag. Um, it speaks to it speaks to the lack of credibility in a department. And um, as I said, when we're dealing with a person's livelihood and personal finances, that should not exist. Um, so presently, this is how this is affecting me right now. Presently, I am looking at disconnection notices. I will be posting some of them in the next little bit. So I'm looking at disconnection notices. I am looking at not being able to fill um, um, my prescriptions. I am looking at um, not being able to pay my bills. And I mean, realistically, um, sooner or later, that means that things are going to get disconnected. That does mean sooner or later, I probably will end up being unhoused. And then Fro is going to have a hell of a time trying to find me because if that happens, I really won't care if I submit my EI report or not because what do I like? What do I need it for? If I'm not getting anything that is going to help me anyways, what do I need it for? Um, so they won't be getting anything, which is it is what it is. I mean, I figure that if it does come down to it and I get unhoused, um, I've always wanted to go traveling coast to coast, so maybe I'll go backpacking. I don't know. I've I've been giving it some thought. Um, I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like, but um, it will be interesting over the next little while to see how this progresses. I know that right now I'm not in any state to go back to work. Um, when I got the notification that they wouldn't be extending my contract, I thought, okay, well, you know what? I haven't had a vacation in years, and I'm gonna to look for work, but I'm also going to try and enjoy the summer. And instead of being able to enjoy the summer, like I've been worried about finances because EI or the Ontario government took forever to get me my ROE. Now, they have fought, by law, they have to submit the ROE to Service Canada within 5 business days. Now, I want to show you guys something. This is a email from the employer. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. So, and I mean, this just created additional hardship because now I've got late fees. I have potential disconnection notices. Um, I mean, realistically, I still have not received my EI payment, my first EI payment. It still has not gone into my bank account. I know it has been processed because I went on my Service Canada account, which I might show you guys later on today, but it actually has not hit my bank account yet. So I have still not been able to pay bills. I'm still looking at disconnection notices, and I am still not able to get anything that I need for um, daily life, right? And um, so this is uh, a message the um, from payroll. Um, so here on July 31st, they reviewed the status of my ROE and found it was generated but not submitted. Although this process is typically automated by the system, it didn't happen. See that this I think is an attack by the government because why is everything so delayed? Why are all these hiccups happening to me, right? Um, I've now contacted the team with appropriate system access and request the ROE be submitted manually. I'll provide you with update once process has been completed. Okay. So um, now they are saying that the ROE number was emailed to me today, which it was. So this is something interesting. So after it was emailed to me, um, I spoke with a Service Canada officer and found that the ROE that was submitted to them on August 4th, um, 2026 was actually my ROE from not this last contract with the government, but the contract before. So um, I'm not going to go into dates, but um, it wasn't the most recent ROE. All right. So then, now keep in mind, this is all causing me enormous stress, um, enormous stress, and also time out of my day, right? So now I go back to Service Canada again and say, okay, have you received this? They tell me they have received it, but it's not for the time frame that I indicated. They tell me it's for my previous contract. Okay. So now I have to go back again to um, to the employer, but this time, but I'm now getting the union involved. Okay. And they're saying now that a new ROE has now been generated. Now, keep in mind, I've been off work um, since July 12th, or sorry, June 12th, June 12th. So it's now August 6th, over a month and almost 2 months, and they're only now just submitting my ROE. All right. So I'm now 2 months behind on my bills because I have not had an income for 2 months. Now, when now Service Canada did receive my ROE, and as you saw in yesterday's um, yesterday's post, Fro decided to take over half of that income. Now, I will be posting the um, the information from Service Ontario today. I was having some computer glitches yesterday, which is why things were kind of wonky with the videos. I decided to go live instead of posting the links because I was having a little bit of computer issues. However, that has now been resolved. So now I'll be posting links and I will be sharing my screen again. Um, so I will show you exactly what CRA, or not CRA, um, that's in my Service Canada account in regards to payments for EI. And I will show you. It's impossible for me to live off this. And I won't be able to get any of my medication because I can't afford it. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to pay for groceries, let alone pay my bills.